Cramer's #1 rule of investing in Apple, and that is don't trade Apple. Invest in Apple. Don't play around. Don't mess around. Don't try.
Love is everything to me. I've been doing it for many, many years. It's now all here. And I will tell you this. The market goes down always when I do my meetings. And that's very simple. It's because it's live and I have to explain how wrong I've been on something I just bought. Fortunately, I haven't bought anything today, so I'm okay.
So you're going to give your outlook for 22.
Absolutely.
You're going to take questions from people, which is a real highlight. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, let's talk about
off today with Apple. What a juggernaut.
Well, okay.
$3 trillion. We're not that far away.
Let's go back 10 days. What did we learn? That there was too much supply, okay, and not enough demand. Because Apple was calling companies and saying, you know what, sales aren't that good.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the stock done since that report,
right,
by the way?
Now we had yesterday Apple calling suppliers saying, look, things are really too good. Do you have any supply? No, these don't happen. None of these calls happen, okay? Particularly the first call. Apple has never made a following call to a supplier saying, oh, man, business is bad. I don't know what to do. But Skyworks is up big, and Skyworks is premier supplier, and I was waiting for that one because that's like the last shoe. Now, please, you come in here, and you know I like Apple, and I want to say own it, don't trade it. But understand, Apple could be down $3.
The good thing, though, about if you're an investor in Apple, just as quickly as it can be down $3, it's proved so resilient that the minute you want to suggest, okay, well, maybe it's going to have a bit of consolidation, stock goes right back up.
Right. Well, we want to defer to our bettors. When I saw that Katie Huberty over at Morgan Stanley, she took a $200 price target. Well, that's the kind of thing that says, I'm right, get on board, or else. Now, we do have a couple of analysts who remain, I'd say, diffident, if not negative on Apple.
Goldman, right?
Yeah. So when Goldman gets really positive, well, you know
the
what?
greatest contrarian indicator.
That's going to be a problem because...
Apple shares, guys, by the way, approaching $3 trillion again. Should point that out. Right. Which is interesting to see.
That's a parlor game.
One of my favorite lines of the morning in the Times, guys, is about the Apple market cap. And they lead off by saying that $3 trillion is worth more than Walmart, Disney, Netflix, Nike, Exxon, Coke, McDonald's, AT&T, Goldman, Boeing, and Ford combined.
Oh, my God. Well, but it's not as good as it was under Steve Jobs. I mean, can we give Tim Cook credit for what an unbelievable juggernaut he's put together? David, it's based on customer service, love of product. Do you have the 13, David?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what this is.
I'm making movies with the
12.
13. It's cinema quality. It really is.
We'll take Apple, for example. Katie Huberty out today, reiterates overweight, reiterates 200, sees an upside December quarter inline guide for March. But in her words, Jim, Apple's now defensive in this rising rate environment.
You know, I actually think FANG is defensive because, as David and I talk about, you get Meta is what sells at like 19 times earnings back.
Yes, we are.
But when I go over, say, Clorox, which is missed quarter, it's finally starting to make quarter. And I look at Apple. I mean, Apple's made quarter, and I think it makes quarter. It does seem defensive. McCormick was downgraded yesterday. McCormick is one of those stocks, you know, spice is supposed to be people, you know, no matter what they do. The McCormick pickle spice wrecked my pickles. Because in winter, for the first time in ages, Apple stock won't be coming in hot, which gives you a real chance to make some money on the company. I always say value of a phone buyer like a consumer products company. That's where the real money is now. And Apple can stress that superior technology and consumer love make the lifetime value very sticky. It's how that game is played. But if you think let's put it this way, if you think there's any hope to this market at all, and David, maybe you don't think there is, Apple is this, what happened?
Why would you say that I don't think there is any hope?
Because you're Saturnine.
I can occasionally be lugubrious, as we all know.
There we go. If you believe that there can be a comeback,
yes.
Apple is a legitimate place for it to start. But I don't want to get people's hopes up because that's what's happened every single day. 10 straight days. The worst advanced decline in 20. That you have companies like Apple down dramatically, and they just are getting cheaper. They are. That is producing a delivery system that makes it so that you subscribe to many different things. I also think, by the way, that one thing that's going to come about this quarter is you may actually see Apple Plus play a bit of a role. Now, Tim Cook has always been, I mean, this is a very self-effacing man. I mean, even if Duke wins the tournament, some of Apple Plus programming, you see where they're going. The revenue streams here are just, you have to have things backed up. And by the way, the App Store, forget it. I just buy it in the App Store. I just am sick and tired of trying to go to I bought a newspaper, a British newspaper in the App Store because I couldn't figure out how to do it on there.
It's called consumer friction.
Yeah. Yesterday, my credit card by American Express was hacked, okay? I'm in an Uber. $270 to go like around the block. What is that about? And I just feel, I'll put it on Apple Pay. I mean, what the heck?
Yep, it's definitely
right
easy.
there.
I actually thought about you yesterday because you've long said, own it, don't trade it.
Yes.
But this last 2 weeks, where if you sold into weakness, the doors closed on you almost immediately.
Well, that often is what happens. Here's your hat, what's your hurry, and don't let the door hit you on the way out. The people who don't like Apple continue to think that it's a handset story. They don't understand it's a holistic story. I mean, there's some new thing. I mean, I have the watch yesterday, and I've got the face of my wife. And, of course, someone criticized that on mentions. They said, oh, like, what is that, you and your wife on your watch? Hey, last I looked, that was kind of a decent idea. No, it's got to be me and my girlfriend. No, I don't have one. Me and my children, I like this. But what matters to me is that they give you choice like you wouldn't believe. But, no, we have to, like, shall me? I'm not a shall me kind of guy.
We'll wait to see if they can make it 12 in a row. Speaking of popular consumer brands, Lulu beats, guides above, $1 billion buyback, plans to raise prices on about 10% of its styles. Line the challenges during the call last night.
I talked last quarter about some of the near-term challenges facing our business. Some are specific to Meta, like our transition to short-form video, which doesn't monetize as well for now, but which we're quite optimistic about over the long term.
Says this could be the third biggest gap higher on earnings since going public.
There was so much that was good here. And a couple of things. Zuckerberg did three things right. One is that I think that TikTok will indeed be on the run from Reels by year end as predicted. And that's because
stocks, Melissa and Jim.
All right. So Apple reports earnings after the bell today, Jim. So what do you make of this pick?
Look, Apple own it, don't trade it. I think it just goes up over time. It is not a classic stock draft stock.
It's not.
But at the same time, it's been my largest position.
About 1,200 points. It's not unheard of you could get that, but it's going to be tough.
I think that this was the week where I think people were more confused than I've seen in a long time. Dan Ives, who is he's the 5 o'clock anchor or the 6 o'clock anchor, just kidding, came out with a piece that which basically said, listen, I've been wrong a lot, but I've been right a lot, and so therefore this may be a great time. And I mean, do I want to buy Apple or sell it? I want to buy Apple, okay? Do I want to buy NVIDIA or sell it? I want to buy, NVIDIA's been cut in half. I like these. Do I want to buy Metaverse or sell it? I think that Zuckerberg's doing the right thing. I mean, he's decided to not spend like a drunken sailor. Why is that bad? Do I want to buy Alphabet or sell it? I thought that, yesterday, Deirdre's interview made me feel like I got to go buy this stock. Honestly, it's so horrible that I want to buy it. Because it's like I look at it and say, okay, that's it. That chart is horrible. Sell NVIDIA. But wait a second. It's cut in half. They're actually doing a lot of good things in the Omniverse. When I deal with Zuckerberg's people, they're actually doing well. It sells at 16 times earnings. What am I?
Apple is set to begin its annual week-long developers conference just a few hours from now. The company is expected to highlight new developments surrounding its software for iPhones and a lot of other devices. Unclear, Jim, whether they will show up, as you just see there in the journal story, a newer version of the MacBook Air laptop, or anything else hardware-related. What are your expectations?
Well, I think that this event, like many things Apple does, very secret. And the stuff that people are talking about, and maybe you could argue it's incremental other than the AR/VR headset, but I think that Apple plays it very close to the vest.
Shares of Apple are up, guys, bucking the overall trend in the market at this point.
Well, David, when are they going to pre-announce? That's the way every single one of these pieces reads. I mean, give me a break.
And they would pre-announce because, what, they're not going to be able to meet iPhone demand as a result of the problems?
There's so much demand. I mean, look, if you want Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, I mean, those are people when you buy a phone, you get your phone through them.